Warning, this video contains spoilers for the upcoming Archer and Olive subscription box, so if you like to be surprised, now's the time to look away. If like me though you want to know all of the goodies that are coming in the box, then I can share some sneak peeks with you today. This one has a dark academia type theme, and I have 4 items that I can share with you. Or technically I suppose if you count each of the items individually, maybe a little bit more. As for our first item, this is a set of 5 gel pens. This is in a range of 5 colours that we haven't seen before, so we're gonna have to get these out and swatch them, playing it super safe with my craft knife. This is usually better to be done with a ruler, but I don't have a ruler that's small enough to fit into this gap. Excellent. We can see the colours of the pens on the caps here, and they've got the little ampersand in gold, which is very cute. I don't think that my gel pens from Archer and Olive have those, or like my previous ones, but that was also from when they first brought out gel pens, so maybe this is like the new upgraded edition of the gel pens. Getting those ones out so we can have a look at them though. In the box they're attached to this little piece of card so that they're kept together, which is kind of handy. And in terms of colours, you can see we've got a muted green, a purple tone, a kind of teal blue, a grey, and an orange. I guess that orange is kind of like a peachy orange too. Swatching those pens on my notepad here though, the pen barrels don't have colour names, but they are distinctly different colours to what we've seen previously, so they should be pretty easy to tell apart if you've got all of the A&O gel pens in your collection. While I'm not usually a fan of writing with gel pens outside of my very favourite ones, these ones were actually really nice to write with. The ink flowed really smoothly. Here you can see our colour palette, but I also wanted to test these on blackout paper to see how they'd perform on that. This is just an offcut from when I've used blackout paper in my notebook previously, but I'm just swatching those colours out in the same order that we had them on the white paper. Although I was a little skeptical when I first put it down on the blackout paper, because it felt like it kind of blended in, because these colours are a little darker, a little more muted. As they dried, they actually started to stand out really well against the blackout paper, so I'd feel pretty comfortable using it on either. It's kind of funny because often I say that gel pens are my nemesis because I just find that they skip and I can't use them very effectively in my notebooks, but these ones might convert me. That was really satisfying to write with. Putting the gel pens safely back into their packet though, so that we can grab out our next item, which is a set of 4 decorative tapes. I actually quite like that this box doesn't have the little window to see through and see the tapes. 1, because spoilers, and 2, because I always find myself ripping the packaging if it has the little cutout window, so this box is probably going to be safer. At least from me. This one is big enough to fit a ruler in, so we can slide the ruler in there to help lift the box up without tearing it. Much safer than trying to do this with a craft knife. Having a look inside though, so as promised, we have 4 decorative tapes. Let's have a closer look and a swatch of these ones. Excuse me while I unceremoniously dump these out of their box. So you can hopefully see the 4 separate designs we have, and in terms of sizing of the tapes, we have some differences in those as well. What we're going to do is swatch them and then compare our patterns. Just swatching those out on the same notepad as before. I'm using this one in particular because the paper is the same colour as Archer and Olive notebook paper, at least if you get a white notebook. This one's actually also from Archer and Olive, but it came in a previous subscription box. I find it very handy for doing these swatches though. In terms of our designs though, we have a bookshelf with some very decorated books, which is really pretty. I love this green teal color, it's gorgeous. And then the gold on this is very slightly metallic. It's not super shiny, but that's also kind of nice because it makes it a little more subdued. And in terms of the repeat on this pattern, it effectively works in one direction, like king, queen, bishop, knight, rook, pawn, and then back. So pawn, rook, knight, etc. We have a floral design. I love the color palette of these. I mean, purple is my favorite color, so just a little bit biased, but I do love the dark moody colors because we don't see that as often from Archer and Olive, so this is kind of exciting. And then we have this checkerboard pattern with the purple and the burgundy, which is really pretty. It's a bit more simple, but I do like washi tapes with a basic pattern. I very much like that we have the repeat of the purple throughout these 3 tapes in particular. It makes it look quite cohesive. And then the bright punch of like some orangey colors also matches with the gel pens, though I will say that it's a little bit more saturated in the tapes than it is in the pens. I still think that they'd work together though. We get a decent amount of tape on each of the rolls, so putting those ones back into their box. before we set that one to the side and get out our next item, which is listed on the description card as a collage paper book. I'm not gonna lie, when I first read the description card, I read it as college paper book, and I'm like, didn't we just do that sub box? But no, collage, which is quite exciting because I've been getting more into collage, so I'm eager to see what the designs on these are. We're gonna have to bring back my craft knife for this one because it's a little bit thinner. Oh dear. If you don't care as much about the packaging as I do, you're totally fine, but I haven't taken a thumbnail picture yet, so I need to keep this box intact. There we go, safe. Sliding that one out, so it is definitely a book, which is exciting. Now, upon initially flipping through this notebook, I was kind of worried that all the paper was just white. I don't know a lot of people who collage in just white, but if you flip the book over so that the ampersand is the correct way up and on the front, then we actually have pictures and patterns. Having a quick flip through of the papers, we have 12 different designs with 4 of each for a total of 48 pages. While they're decorated on one side, they are just blank on the other, so you don't have to decide between which pattern to use. I always find with double-sided papers, I always have kind of a little crisis when I want to use both sides of the paper, so no need to do that this time. Nice and easy for decision making. In terms of the pages that look like they're just one flat color, these ones are actually dot grid. It's just that the dots are quite subtle, so you can still use them as dot grid pages, but the dots aren't quite as punchy as they are on regular dot grid notebook paper. This is a really great way to start your paper collection if you're wanting to do like scrapbooking kind of journaling, whether that's like junk journaling or just kind of a scrapbooky aesthetic in your regular journal. I've been finding it to be quite a lot of fun, you know, pulling in different elements in terms of papers and tapes and stickers and such, and having them all in this little book. I think it's quite cute. Tucking that one safely back into its packet and then onto the next item. When I saw this item in the box, I was so excited because one of my favorite items from any sub box that we've had before has been this item, and we effectively get like round 2 of it, 2.0. If you don't know what I'm talking about, this is effectively called a pocket library, or it's like a pocket size, A6 size notebook, but they're little chonky notebooks. So each of these is 192 pages rather than the more typical 112 that we get when we get an A6 from Archer and Olive. And these ones come in their own little cute box, just like the ones we got from the September sub box last year. Last year's theme was Vintage Library, and we had 2 notebooks, one being lined and one being dot grid, but this time we have 2 dot grid notebooks. Dot grid is always going to be my preference, but we'll take these out and have a look at them one by one. Oh my gosh, I am so excited for these. Starting first with the little teal notebook. This one is on a buckram cover, so it kind of feels like a coated linen. It has kind of a texture of linen, but it holds up much better to the elements, or if like me you sometimes leave things on your desk because you like to eat lunch at your computer, yeah, you don't have to be worried about accidentally getting food on your notebook and having it stain. As said, this one has 192 pages. We have some very pretty spine work here, and then on the back it's just plain color. But what's quite exciting is that this one has craft paper. I love notebooks with different colored papers. They're just exciting as long as they're dot grid, which this one is. We of course have our 2 bookmarks, one of them having the ampersand charm, a pen loop on the side, and a gusseted pocket on the end. I also like that the end paper is craft as well, because I haven't actually opened up my other craft notebook to see if it's craft on here, but I think that that's kind of a neat touch as well. The fact that we have a little chess piece on here and we also have other little chess themed items is so exciting for me. I used to be like captain of my chess club at school. I won trophies. I don't think that's necessarily something to boast about, but I'm gonna boast about it. So this one with like the little rook and the little pawn, I just think it's really cute. Plus the color is so gorgeous. For our other notebook though, this one is a vegan leather cover, and we've got that kind of like checkerboard pattern on the front, which is quite pretty in black. We also have some spine design, so some little kind of intricate detailing here with the ampersand. Oh, I absolutely love this. This one is also patterned on the back with that same gridded pattern. And then when we get into the notebook and have a look at the paper, this one is also dot grid, but the paper is grey. It might be a little hard to appreciate, so here is a color comparison. This one's just an offcut from one of my other Archer and Olive notepads. But as said, I love having more colors of notebook paper. It's just very exciting to me. That and it's dot grid, which I love. We again have the little bookmarks in a similar color to the cover, the pen loop on the side, and the grey gusseted pocket in the back. I would honestly be so pumped to see even more of these from Archer and Olive. I want to make a little shelf dedicated to all of my mini, eclectic, very cute looking notebooks, but in particular the ones that are a little more decorated like this. They're so gorgeous. I'm Probably never going to use these because I'll be too nervous to, but I love them. Attempting to politely shove those back into the box so that we can have a look at our items together, we had the gel pens, decorative tapes, the pocket library, and the collage papers. I'm eager to hear which of these items has piqued your interest the most, or what else are you hoping to see in the sub box. I will share the full reveal with you as soon as I am able to, but if in the meantime you want to grab yourself something from Archer and Olive, remember you can use code JashiiCorrin10 for 10% off your order. We love savings. I'm going to put these ones back into the box before I spoil more than I'm supposed to, but if you wanted to see some of the previous unboxings we've had from Archer and Olive, then the playlist on screen here is the next one to check out. The September sub boxes are traditionally my favourites, so go check out what else we've had in them so you can get a feel for what might be coming up. Click or tap on that one and I'll see you over there.